Like I said, Ken, just sit there and do what you're told and agree with me. All right, the next caller, Eugene, is calling from Columbus, Maryland. Hi, Eugene. Welcome to the Dave Ramsey Show. How are you?
Hi, Dave. I'm just so honored to be here on your show. It's amazing.
Better than I deserve. How can I help?
Well, the thing is, Dave, I have this question about credit cards. Now, I like to use credit cards. I am pretty responsible with them. I've never actually carried a balance or
All right.
paid interest.
I've said this 500 different times in 5,000 different ways, but here we go. Number one, these credit card companies don't like you. All right? They think you're stupid. You know why they think you're stupid? Because you are. You got a small little pea brain that don't have no sense, and they know that. That's number one. Number two, they know that you're going to spend more money if you use plastic. Now, Eugene, what's your household income?
I make about $325.
$325,000.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question. Did you get rich? I mean, $325,000 a year, pretty good income, all right?
Yeah.
Bro, I mean, for a young boy from Antioch, Tennessee, $325,000 pretty dang good.
Yeah.
Did you get to $325,000 of your credit card points?
No, I mean,
Huh?
it's
Answer the question, Eugene. You're
I'm
on my show now, all right? Did you get there with using credit card points? Well, no, you didn't. You know why? Nobody does. You know, I got lots of rich friends, Elon Musk, Mark Rubin, whole bunch of them. And I ask them all the time, we sit around and we say, hey, how'd you get rich? Ain't one of them ever said, I got rich off my Chase Sapphire Preferred Visa.
I mean,
Not one of them ever has. It just doesn't happen. Now, how did you grow up to be so stupid that you know how to make $325,000 a year, but you don't have two brain cells to rub together to realize that your credit card points didn't have nothing to do with it? Okay.
like Dave, that's that's not really the point. Like, I'm not trying to get.
Let me guess, Eugene. You pay your card off every month, don't you?
Yeah.
Isn't that right? You pay it off every month?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, because you think you're smarter than Chase. Do you think you're smarter than Bank of America?
No, that's not the point.
Do you think you're smarter than Capital One?
I mean, not really.
Well, let me guess. Even if you think you are, that is not only the height of arrogance, but it just shows how stupid you are. And it just shows how stupid everybody else is that disagrees with anything I've ever said for the last 25 years. I just don't understand why people think that they can call my show and call into question an archaic, outdated, ridiculous view that I have about credit cards that doesn't make any sense in a modern economy because I'm still acting like it's 1987. I just don't understand the arrogance there. So, but you called Dave to see what Dave would do. Now, what would Dave do? Well, Dave would make $250 million a year so he doesn't have to use a credit card for points. You know, the last time I used a credit card, it was to cut it up. I just got me one to cut. That's it. I ordered one from the credit card store, and they sent it in the mail, and I got me my plastectomy scissors, and I just cut the thing right up. That's what I did, Eugene. What are you doing with your free time? I'm cutting up credit cards and going on vacations. Not for free. I'm going on vacations with my money that I earned here at Ramsey Solutions, which I own. It's mine. So, thanks for the call, Eugene. You know, Ken, I'm going to say some things, and you're going to agree with me. Here we go. First, that guy's a dummy. He's almost as dumb as everyone else. He's almost as dumb as all the other people who call my show. Well, all right. Next caller. What other problem do you have? What other stupid problem do you have? Welcome to the Dave Ramsey Show.
Hey, it's no secret that Dave Ramsey doesn't like credit cards. It is kind of one of his main things that he teaches, which is to hate credit cards. And the question I want to ask in this video is, why does Dave Ramsey hate credit cards? And does he have good reason to suggest that no one use credit cards? That is his position. It always has been, that no matter what your financial situation, no matter how well you do at managing and budgeting your money, it doesn't matter. You should not ever have a credit card. That is his position. And if you look at just about any time Dave Ramsey has answered this question about credit cards, it basically comes down to 4 reasons that he gives for why no one should have credit cards. So what I want to do is go through each of these 4 things and talk about why I disagree with 3 out of 4 of them. And at the end of this, I'm going to make a case for why some people should utilize the wonderful benefit of credit cards. So the first thing he says is they are dangerous. Now, he says they are dangerous for basically everyone, no matter what, and that's what I disagree with. I think Credit cards are dangerous for some people. They are dangerous and they are not wise if you are ever going to carry a balance. Do not use a credit card as a line of credit. A credit card used well should be paid off every single month without exception, and the only way they make sense to use is if you do that religiously. This is so that you never pay interest and you never pay any kind of fees associated with carrying a balance on the card. If you can't do that, or if you won't do that, or if there's a chance you won't do that, then credit cards are probably not the best idea for you. This is why, for my wife and I, our credit card, which we put every single possible thing we can on it, it automatically pays itself off every month. We don't even have to think about it. And we have never and never will carry a balance on our card. The money goes from the checking account to the credit card just like that. And so for us, it's not been a problem. It is not dangerous. Now, the second thing that he says is pretty interesting. He talks about how when you use a credit card, you tend to spend more. And he cites studies for why this is the case. Now, I will say that this might be true, that people spend more when they use a credit card. But if you're gonna say this about credit cards, you have to also be consistent and say this about debit cards, because the distinction that he typically makes is between cash and plastic. That with cash, you're gonna spend less money because it's emotionally attached to you and you feel it. And with plastic, you're gonna spend more because there's not the same emotional connection to the money. The problem with that is that a debit card, which he does support, is also plastic. It's also a artificial form of money. It's not cash. And so in his argument, you would necessarily also spend more using a debit card versus cash. Now, let's back up just a second. If you're managing your money well and you're budgeting, like he says, every dollar on paper, on purpose, before the month begins, then this should not and will not be a problem. The way we treat our credit card is just a way to access the money that we have planned to spend. So there's no spending more if we didn't plan it in the budget. Whether we use cash, which I don't like cash, I don't like the risk of having cash on me. I don't like touching it because it's dirty. I like the fact that I have a card that if it's lost or stolen or is fraudulently used, I am not going to be liable for the damages that ensue from that. There's lots of protection with a credit card, which you do not get with cash. So for me, the money is there. I'm going to spend the money that I planned to spend. The question now is, what is the way in which I'm going to spend the money? And I do it with a credit card because it makes the most sense, which leads to his third argument, which is the points or travel rewards, perks. The way he talks about points makes it seem like they're just impossible to redeem. Or if you're gonna use airline points, you're gonna have a worse experience because you used airline points instead of paying for it with your own money. Or he says you're gonna spend $10,000 on your credit card and you're only gonna get $200 in points or cash back, and what a stupid thing that is. So let's back up and look at this for just a second. I have used my credit card points for everything from hotel rooms to airline tickets to mostly redeeming them for gift cards at big box stores like Best Buy or Home Depot or Lowe's. So what I typically do is I will let a big old pile of points pile up, and then I will redeem for a gift card and then go buy something that I already wanted to buy. Here's an example. A couple years ago, I needed a pressure washer. I wanted a Honda pressure washer that was at Lowe's for $400. I cashed out a $250 gift card with my points to Lowe's and then another $50 gift card. I took that $300 in gift cards from my points to Lowe's, gave it to them, and I paid $100 for a pressure washer. Now, Dave's argument that points never turn into real money or that it's so convoluted and complicated that it's just not worth messing with, I just don't understand that. It has not been my experience. I spend the money, I get the points, I use them for how I want to use them. This summer, we're gonna be doing a lot of traveling. We have kids, so we do a lot of driving when we travel. We have not paid for a hotel room when we travel in a long time because we let our points piling up, spending money we already were gonna spend. We cash it in for hotel rooms and we stay where we wanna stay and we save a little bit of money. So I just have not experienced this conundrum that he seems to think is out there with credit card points. I don't understand why he thinks this is such a complicated thing when millions of people do it every single day. It's not really that complicated. The fourth thing that he talks about is basically this idea that credit card rewards won't get you rich. That's just not how I'm gonna get rich, right? Like, nobody I know who's rich did it that way. That's not the point, Dave. Like, that's not the point. Nobody's trying to get rich from credit. Like, where did you get this idea that we're all sitting around going, gosh, we're broke. How are we gonna get rich? Credit card points. It's such a straw man, and it drives me crazy every time I hear it, because I'm like, bro, I am not trying to get rich from credit card points. I'm getting rich from my business. I don't need the credit card points. The credit card points are free money in exchange for spending money that I would have already spent and planned to spend. So to me, that argument is just silly. It's like, come on, Dave. It's free money that I'm getting, and as long as I never pay interest because I pay it off every single month, I'm benefiting. That's just the truth. It's just the way it is, Dave. So those are my rebuttals to the 4 main things that Dave says. I would love to hear what you think in the comments below. I would love to hear from you in the comments. Do you agree with me? Do you agree with Dave? Let's have a fiery but mostly peaceful discussion down in the comments. And check out this video where I talk a little bit more about Dave and some of the reasons why I think his advice kind of stinks sometimes. So click right there and I'll see you in that video.